Hello everyone, let's take a look at this LeetCode problem. It's the second problem in the weekly context. Although it's the second problem, but I think it's a little bit hard since it's kind of like a knapsack problem, so it's a DP problem. Although you can solve it like by DFS since the constraint is not that strict. Okay, let's take a look at like how to solve this problem. If you haven't read the problem, you can take some time to read. The description is quite long. So we need to create like ice cream. So some base flavor, and we have to choose exactly one base flavor. And there are some toppings, and we can choose any toppings. And for each topping, there are at most two. Like so, for example, like for chocolate, we can only choose two chocolate toppings, but we can choose any types of toppings. So given a target, it asks us to compute a cost, which is the closest to the target. Okay, let's take a look at this example. So we can choose base flavor 7 and choose one topping 3. So we have cost 10, which is closest to target. And let's take a look at like how to use DP to solve this problem. So we have a dimensional DP array. It's a Boolean array to indicate like if I have cost 11 or if I have cost 12. At first, the default value is false. First, we can just for loop the base costs and set value to true. So we have 1 and 7. So 1, 7 is true since, for example, I can choose base 7 and I don't need to choose any toppings. So 7 is okay. Okay, next, I can use the first topping 3. So 4 and 10 is true. Since 10 can come from 7, 4 can come from 1. Next, I can use second topping 3. So 13 is true since 13 can come from 10. So for each topping, we can just for loop my array. And for each value, I can just, if it can come from previous number, for example, 3, I need to check if 13 is true or not. So current topping is 3. So I need to check table 13 minus 3, which is table 10. Table 10 is true, so table 13 is true. Okay, next we can use topping 4. So 17 is true since 17 can come from 13. 14 is true, which comes from 10. 11 is true, which comes from 7. 8 is true, which comes from 4. 5 is true, which comes from 1. Okay, next we can use second topping 4. But I didn't draw here since we already figured out how to solve it. So this is implementation. Let's take a look at constraint. So the base cost is between 1 to like 10,000. So we can choose a base cost, and target is also between 1 to 1,000. So only choose one base cost, and for target, we know the diff is smaller than 1,000. So for my table, I can just use a constant number like 20,000. Since we don't need to calculate 30,000, 40,000, since we already know as long as I choose any base cost, the optimal diff is like, the diff is already smaller than 1,000. So 10,000. Okay, so I just for loop base cost and set the table base to true. Then we just for loop each topping. And for each topping, we can use at most twice. So that's also in a for loop here. Then I just check each value to see if they can come from a previous value. If it can come from a previous value, then table current value is true. Then I just check my table and pick the best number. Finally, just return this number. So it's a very typical DB problem, and it's in the second problem in the weekly context. Since the constraint is not that bad, since n is smaller or equal than 10, there are some other solutions. Okay, this is thanks.